Hey everybody, this is Dave Dugdale, learningvideo.com. This is not going to be like a complete review of the Sony XLR-K1M, but more of a direct comparison because I'm working on my Sony A7S course and I'm talking about different accessories that you can buy with this unit, so I wanted to demonstrate it. So what I'm going to do is you're going to see text on either side of me showing which microphone I'm actually using right now. And I'll explain how I set it up after I show you the test. So the first test I want to do is RF. So a lot of times you might have your phone in your pocket and you're filming like right up here and a text comes in or something and you'll get interference, especially on the Rode VideoMic Pro since it's made out of plastic. I wish they would make it out of metal or have some better shielding. So what you're going to hear is the Sony totally annihilate the Rode in terms of RF protection, I guess you could say. So go ahead and take a listen. I'm going to be basically testing these two microphones in terms of my voice. You could probably run these on an instrument like a piano or something like that. I probably wouldn't recommend it, but they're more, I think, designed more for dialogue or, you know, stuff that I'm doing right now, just talking to a camera. So the first one, I'm interested in how it reproduces S's. It's very telling in terms of a microphone. Sometimes you can get some that will just take your head off in terms of the S's that come in. They're just so sibilant or bright. They can be a problem. You have to de-S them later. So I'm going to go back and forth on this one phrase. Here we go. Sister Sally sells seashells by the seashore. 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 And I think what you'll have noticed there is they're pretty close. The Sony microphone is a little bit more sibilant, not much. I think it's pretty well controlled. And the Rode, I think, sounds pretty darn natural. For next test, I want to hear what the room sounds like and how well these shotgun mics can basically do off-axis rejection. So if there's like a computer, like which is right over out of frame, it's got like, I don't know, 6 fans in it. It's a beastly computer. It's got tons of fans in it, but the fans are pretty quiet, but you'll probably hear them. And what I'm going to do is going to boost this up maybe 10 or 12 dB in post, so it makes it a bit more obvious which one has a higher noise floor, or ambient noise floor, I should say. Not noise floor as in just noise, but ambient. How it picks me up here, but it rejects everything around it. So let's go ahead and listen to which one is rejecting more off axis. All right, the next thing I want to do in terms of off-axis rejection is I'm just going to use my iPhone. Just got some pink noise on it. That's equal energy per octave, and I'm just going to work my way around. I'm basically just going to do it right on top, 90 degrees off-axis, and then 180 degrees off-axis. All right, next up is not going to be very scientific at all. I'm just going to use my blower that I clean my lenses with. You're going to get wind noise in terms of these windscreens, how well they work. The Rode doesn't work that great out in the wind. You have to definitely put on a good furry. So we're just going to see how well these do. I got to hold them pretty high up or it's going to distort. So I'm going to hold this pretty high, maybe even out of frame. I'm going to try to aim the air right between the two. To make it a fair competition. So here we go. All right, next up what I'm going to do is going to read from the wonderful Sony manual that came with the microphone. Sony doesn't make the best manuals, but anyway. I'm just going to read it and then basically you'll hear it back to back so you can hear the difference between the two. So here's the wonderful passage from the manual, and I'll try to hold it right in between. Align the convex part of the microphone and the concave part of the holder, and then place the microphone into the holder. Align the convex part of the microphone and the concave part of the holder, and then place the microphone into the holder. So I think what you'll have heard there is the Rode VideoMic Pro has a little bit more bass in my voice, whereas the Sony doesn't have as much. It has maybe a little bit more, between 3 to 5 kilohertz in terms of the S's. When I say S words, maybe a little bit different there. But in terms of these two microphones, I compared this Rode VideoMic Pro to a lot of different microphones. This is probably the closest match I think I've ever seen before. So just really quick on my setup in terms of these tests, I'm using two different cameras, the Sony a7S and the a7 II. You might be saying, wait a minute, you're using two different cameras, this is not a fair comparison. Well, it kind of is, because I've run a lot of extensive tests before I ran these, and just make sure the noise floor was the same, you know, where the limiter kicks in around -3, because there actually is a limiter on both of these cameras in terms of, it's a hard limiter. Once you hit about -3, I injected it with pink noise and brought the level slowly. You can see where it starts to clamp it down. So I think they're using the exact same circuitry, same circuit board, whatever, on these two different cameras. So I think that's a very fair comparison between using these two cameras as. So the reason I did two cameras at the same time is I could read that same passage and I could play them back easily for you. So construction-wise on this K1M, I think it's kind of weird. Just the way it's put together. I kind of thought that, you know, you'd get this unit, you could just slide it into your hot shoe and the microphone would sit on top of it, but it doesn't. As you can see from these pictures, you have to have like an external bracket, which kind of stinks. And that's just my thoughts on that. In terms of running long XLRs, I think it's a great solution if you have like a lot of interference in the room, or wherever you're doing an interview or whatever you're doing. Running an XLR cable a very long distance, because it's balanced, it's a great solution. In this case, where I'm running the Rode VideoMic Pro unbalanced for like 10 feet, that's fine. As long as you're not over like 15, 20 feet on unbalanced signal, you'll get a pretty darn clean signal, as you can hear I'm getting right now. So in terms of price, it's really pricey. It's like $795, I believe, for the K1M, whereas the Rode VideoMic Pro is like, what, $210. But it's very different. You know, the K1M comes with this interface unit where you can plug in other microphones to it. Like you could have one like a lav, and you can have one shotgun. You could be running them both at the same time. But with the Rode VideoMic Pro, it's just a mic, but you could also buy some third-party type things like Juice Link or something like that for much less. So it's kind of expensive. In terms of construction, like I said, this is not really a complete review. I haven't used it a ton, and I don't really plan on using this a ton. I just, like I said before, I'm using this to demonstrate things on my course. I read reviews online where there's a clear plastic cover that goes over the interface type unit, and where the knobs and controls are. And I've heard that it could fall off like in 3 days, you know. So the construction build quality on this might not be the greatest. You might want to definitely take care of it. Also, there's no battery in this K1M. It's coming, the battery is, the juice for it basically is coming from the camera itself. So the A7S battery, which is not great, it will drain even faster. So that's definitely a consideration. So that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else I want to talk about. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.